What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Take Three podcast. My name is Brendan, and as always, joined by my co-host Alex. We're here just about 2 hours away, 3 hours away from Thursday night football. The Cowboys look to get things back on track, go down to New Orleans, face the beat-up Saints. No Alvin Kamara, obviously, starting tackles out, and then we get the insertion of Taysom Hill. It took Sean Payton long enough. Obviously, he was hurt. The concussion thing happened, kind of prolonged that. I think if he was good to go, right when Jameis got hurt, he would have been playing a lot earlier. Obviously, we've seen Trevor Simeon's efforts. They've been subpar. The team's been subpar since Jameis went down. Crazy to say, but I mean, we're here, week 13. Season's going fast, scary fast, to be honest. We're in that backstretch. It's a lot of bad teams playing good teams this week. I mean, there's a couple good matchups. You got Chargers, Bengals, which we'll get into. You got Washington, suddenly a hot Washington team coming off that Monday Night Football. Close W going on the road to take Vegas. I mean, they're only a game out of the playoffs, sitting behind the Vikings with the same record at 5-6. You got Baltimore and Pittsburgh. We kind of know what that's going to be. Slugfest AFC North game. San Fran looks to continue surging and kind of put the official nail in the coffin up in Seattle. Then we got the two big ones, honestly, the two primetime games to end the week. Should be good. Denver obviously goes to Kansas City, takes on Patrick Mahomes. Teddy Bridgewater, the ultimate game manager, looking to steal one at Arrowhead. And then obviously the big one, probably the game I'm most excited for, is obviously Mac Jones goes on the road to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen, a matchup that we will see for years to come, which is super excited. But I mean, how are you feeling on Thursday before we jump into Thursday night football?
I feel good heading into this weekend. I feel like there's a lot of games this week where a lot of lopsided games. I feel like we'll find out. I took a lot of favorites, so we'll see how that turns out. But I am super excited for the Monday night game, New England at Buffalo. Obviously, we'll talk about it later, but I'm very excited for that game. That's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, for sure. That's I mean, that is the one I think every football fan, I got to be honest, is waiting to see. We're going to really see how legit, see if Mac Jones is ready to go on the road for really his first big NFL test. And then we're going to see if Buffalo's game, right? Their defenses look kind of suspect. We know the Patriots, Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, they're going to run the hell out of the ball. Their defense has been humming as of late, and it should be interesting. We'll get into that. But I mean, without further ado, we might as well jump into the game that is going to happen in 3 hours. We got the Cowboys 6-point favorites on the road in New Orleans against Sean Payton, Taysom Hill, and the Saints. I know Sean Payton's super excited to roll out Taysom Hill. He has probably been waiting for weeks to do that. It sucks that no Alvin Kamara, once again, knee injury, and then both of the starting tackles for the Saints are out. So, I mean, when we're looking at it, the Saints kind of have their work cut out for them at home. It's weird to say that. Usually you look at the Superdome, tough place to play, but this beat up Saints team heavily relies on the defense. The offense really hasn't given them much as of late. And then on the Cowboys side, they get Amari Cooper back, going to be limited. Obviously, he's coming off of COVID, the conditioning not there. DeMarcus Lawrence is back. And then obviously CeeDee Lamb's back. That's a big one. So they'll have their full complement of weapons. And then they still have the running backs out of the backfield. The Saints were good against the run, but it's weird to see when they face the Eagles, they got gashed by the run. So, I mean, if Dallas is playing their cards right with their weapons back, they should be able to run heavy on the ground with Pollard and Zeke. But I mean, we kind of thought that against the Raiders too a little bit, and they let us down. So, I mean, what are you seeing going into Thursday night football? I expect a big Cowboys game. I think they get things back on track. I just don't know how much I can trust Taysom Hill. Obviously, he has like a 3-1 record as a starter, but I'm not really buying into that. I just think it's going to be too much gimmick stuff, and they won't have enough on offense once again.
Well, for Taysom Hill's 3-1 record, 2 of them were Atlanta Falcons games last year, so that's not great. I expect Dallas to get it right and cover here, and they got all their weapons back, and I find it hard to believe that they're going to give up 2 games in a row because I'm not totally out on this Dallas team yet. Their defense is still good, and like we've said many times, they have all the offensive pieces. So I still think they can right this ship and get it together. I think they have separated themselves from being one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the NFC. They are a notch below, without a doubt. But I'm not completely out on them. Dallas can turn around and get it going. I think this is just like Thursday nights are always strange. Granted, they both played last Thursday on Thanksgiving, so they both had a full week of rest. But I don't know, it'd be very New Orleans Saintsy to come out with Taysom Hill, no tackles, no Alvin Kamara, and like play a good competitive game and keep it close in New Orleans and maybe even steal it. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. I think Dallas gets it going with the receivers back, and hopefully Zeke looks better on the run game. He looked a little banged up on Thursday, so hopefully maybe they can even give Pollard more touches, whatever it takes to get Zeke healthy down the stretch. But I don't I don't see how New Orleans wins the game. They'd have to have a phenomenal game defensively. They'd have to really stuff the run, and Marshawn Lattimore would have to shut down probably CD Lamb because Amari is going to be on a snap count in order for New Orleans to win. And that's a really tough task to do. Not many teams have been able to do it. So I really don't see them slowing down Dallas. I think Dallas gets back into a rhythm and rolls, but I don't know. I would pick Dallas. I'm taking Dallas, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if New Orleans somehow kept it in there, stole the game, or just kept it competitive. It's a weird Thursday game in the dome. But how much do you really trust Taysom Hill? I don't, so it's tough for me.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not buying into Taysom Hill at all. I think not having Kamara is kind of huge as well. They're 0-3 without him. Their offense kind of looks completely different. They don't really have anything on offense. They've obviously lost 4 straight games for the first time since 2015. They've never lost 5 straight in the Sean Payton era. So I mean, tonight could be a first. Obviously, Zeke, yeah, he's banged up, right? Jerry Jones went on the usual radio show, spewed his bullshit that he usually does every single week. Said Zeke was banged up, but he's not going to be on a pitch count. He said he expects him to be good to go. Even if not, dude, feed Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, more explosive, arguably better at this point. I think all the carries and the college load that Zeke took on at Ohio State, you're kind of seeing that all come full circle. The game as a running back beats you up, and it's taken a toll when you look at Pollard. I mean, he's the second highest graded rusher behind Jonathan Taylor with running backs playing 200 plus snaps this year. So, I mean, that's not a bad option to swing him the ball. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to make of this. Taysom Hill could make it interesting if they have any sauce. I don't. I really don't expect it at all, though. I just can't. Obviously, Thursdays are sometimes weird, but I'm going to buy into this Thursday kind of staying status quo. The Cowboys go in, get everything back in business, even without Mike McCarthy. I believe he's out with COVID, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, when you just the Saints anemic offense, right? 7 points or fewer in the first half of each of their 6 losses. It's ugly, ugly football on the offensive side of the ball, and that eventually puts too much pressure on the defense, and you're seeing the defense kind of fold. They only can do so much, right? So, Sean Payton, get your shit together, right? You're a guru. You're a god coach, right? Like, you're a know-it-all guy. You like to run the score up. So let's figure it out, boss. Right? If you're this guy, you should be rolling regardless of who's back there, right? You keep extending Taysom Hill. So let's see what Taysom Hill has in the back pocket.
Now, if you're Dallas, obviously you want to jump on the throat and end the game as early as possible. But I would just if I would try and make it a priority somehow if you have a chance to jump on them before half or whatever it is, weird scenarios, just so you can play Zeke as little as possible, because I don't feel you need him. And if Dallas is going to do what they want to do, they need a really strong running game. They're going to need Pollard and Zeke. And I'm just talking further down the road, not this game, because they don't need them this game. And this could be one of those games where you just step on their throats early and then Zeke doesn't have to play that much, because I think they should really focus on getting Zeke healthy for the playoffs, because you can get away with having just Tony Pollard in the regular season. You can also get away a game or two with Dak just throwing it a ton. So if I'm Dallas, I make it a priority to step on their throats early and I'm just trying to get Zeke healthy for the long run for that final stretch.
Yeah, that'd be a goal. Yeah, I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence back, obviously Micah Parsons. Hopefully they keep him on the other end. He's been a beast coming off the edge. No starting tackles. They should just be coming out attacking early and often. I don't really care if Taysom Hill can run around a little bit. Micah Parsons can chase down Taysom Hill without any issue. And yeah, jump on him early, get up 2 scores early, and kind of just coast to this thing. Because I don't think if the Cowboys get up 2 scores, I don't know, 14, 17, nothing off the rip, I don't think the Saints have the offense to really get back in the game. And as you said, you'll be able to manage Zeke snaps and just run Pollard to death. And Pollard's more explosive anyway. So at the end of the day, it's a win in Dallas. But we'll see. 6-point favorites, always fun. Can't really say short week because they're both coming off Thursday, Thanksgiving.
Right.
Both had equal amount of time to prepare for this. So, hey, we'll see what is in store. Keeping it moving, we're going to go to Sunday. 2 teams that are they're both vying, battling for wildcard spots, I guess, for division spots. When you look at both teams, really aren't out of their divisions, with the Chargers sitting 6-5, the Chiefs at top of that AFC West. Now, weird to say with how bad they were at the beginning to take over that division again, but they're only a game out of it. And obviously Cincinnati 7-4, Baltimore's 8-3, and they hold a dub over the Ravens. So I mean, the Bengals are looking to come out at home, really do what they did last week, right? Pick up on where they left off, beat the piss out of the Chargers. The Chargers really haven't been playing good football. It's you're seeing young quarterback, young head coach, struggling a little bit to navigate the middle part of the season, which I guess it's kind of expected. I don't know why I really super bought into the Chargers at the beginning. They were so dynamic, but it's so many times in this league, right? The veteran head coaches they dominate. You look at the guys like Bill Belichick, you get to the midway point of the season and they're getting better and better. And then you look at the rookie guys, their first years, they kind of struggle to navigate that portion. But I mean, 3-point spreads 3. The Chargers could very well come out. I mean, they got to play clean football, right? When they lose, Herbert's throwing interceptions. The defense really isn't giving them what they need. And I mean, we've seen Joe Burrow at times this year get sloppy, turn the ball over. And we've seen the Bengals kind of be Jekyll and Hyde. They'll run the ball some weeks, not run the ball other weeks. I mean, I expect another good Joe Mixon week, but I mean, it feels like a close one, to be honest. The Chargers I feel like they'll get it back on track. They won't look as distraught as they did in Denver last week. So I expect a good game. I went Bengals. I don't know. I'm buying in 3 points at home. And I just don't like where the Chargers are trending. But one of my Bengals fans buddies said the Bengals, if they can tackle, they should be able to win. So hey, it'll be good. What do you see here? Similar quarterback statistics as well. Burrow has 22 touchdowns, 12 picks. Herbert 24 touchdowns, 10 picks. So they're very eerily similar. So it should be a good matchup between both of these second-year guys.
Looking at this game, I definitely feel that the Cincinnati Bengals have an advantage here. Obviously, they're at home and they're the slight favorites, but you can very easily run on this Chargers defense, and this definitely should be a Joe Mixon game, giving them 20-plus touches and just running it down their throat and kind of limiting Joe Burrow. Let Joe do his thing. You get passing opportunities, throw them. You got great receivers. But I just think it's a really good spot for Cincinnati in a Joe Mixon game. However, I did take the Chargers. I think it's going to be a close one. You're talking about two teams right there for the playoff spot. It's going to be very close, but the Chargers, they really need this game way more than Cincinnati does. I'm worried about them offensively and defensively. I don't think they'll be able to stop Joe Mixon in the run. I think he should have a big day. But really, to me, it's about Justin Herbert and that passing offense, because the Bengals do stop the run well. They might be able to run a little bit. I'm not too worried about that. I'm just worried about Herbert through the air and not making mistakes. If the Chargers are going to beat Cincinnati, they need to play clean football, like you said. And I think it's really as simple as like Herbert executing and the offense executing. Because like in their losses, you see Herbert throw for like 220 yards. Then in their wins, he's more around 280 to 300 plus. So it's not as simple as that, but it tends to be, if the offense is going, the Chargers look really good. But if their offense isn't rolling, then the defense is on the field for more snaps, obviously, and they just get worn down. And I think this is a really good spot for the Bengals to wear them down. I took the Chargers because I want them to bounce back, and I wanted to take a dog, and I thought they had a really good chance on the road because they're very dynamic offensively, but they're not consistent. But at the same time, Cincinnati's looked really bad at times. So I think this comes down to the team that makes less mistakes. I rolled with the Chargers in the points, but to be honest, I do think Cincinnati wins. And if they're smart about it, and Zach Taylor makes a really good game plan, it should be Joe Mixon just running through the Chargers defense, because he's very capable of doing that. I feel if you're the Bengals, it's got to be a heavy Joe Mixon game.
Yeah, you would hope. I mean, interested just looking at the Chargers. They've allowed 24 plus points and 300 plus total yards in 7 straight games. Ooh. So it's crazy for me to sit back now looking at that and saying, yeah, this team, like, they're the cream of the crop. It's how fast the season moves, right? The season goes, injuries happen, and teams, they just kind of, they change up. But yeah, I mean, heavy Joe Mixon beat up that defense, wear that defense down, set up easy throws for Joe Burrow. It's interesting also on the other side, Jamar Chase is at 50 or fewer receiving yards in 4 straight games, coming off of a 7-game streak where he had 50 or more in every game. So, I mean, Jamar Chase is probably looking to get going again when you look at this. And I think both teams kind of equally need this W just as bad. When you look at Cincinnati, they have the 4th toughest schedule remaining in the AFC. They don't have another opponent that is below 500. Everybody's either 500 or better. They kind of play a gauntlet. So when you're looking at a game, you're facing a struggling Chargers team at home. This is one that you're going to want to get going forward, coming down that back stretch when you know the schedule doesn't get easier. And the Chargers, sounds weird to say it, but arguably could be one of the easier opponents left on the schedule. So, I mean, I expected, 3-point spread should be close. And I really honestly just went with the Bengals because they're at home. Some people are saying hungry dog runs faster, roll with the Chargers. I am not going with that. The defense is decimated. And if Zach Taylor, he seems to have some brains. He's been smarter. he will run Joe Mixon heavy and really beat up on the Chargers and kind of force Justin Herbert's hand. And we've seen that when they kind of get go in the gunslinger mode, he throws more interceptions, and it just it trends the other way. But I expect a good, close, hard fought game on both sides, to be honest.
That defensive statistic of them giving up 300 plus yards 7 games in a row, just all the more reason to put more pressure on Herbert. But Herbert it's all about just not making mistakes. And to me, obviously he's going to target Keenan Allen 10 plus times, but you need 10 plus targets from Mike Williams too. Big body receiver. I've said this before, but I think they're just a better offense when Mike Williams gets a ton of looks and a ton of targets. Obviously Keenan is great, but Mike Williams is open when he's covered. He can make those contested catches. So I think in order for that Chargers offense to really hum, they're going to need a lot of Mike Williams. And obviously Keenan will do his thing, but I just want to see a lot of targets towards Mike Williams. They've done really well offensively, and they seem to get the offenses going way more when he's heavily involved.
Thanks. I'd like to see some more Austin Eckler too. He's dangerous in the run game and the pass game. Kind of one of those guys who can swing out there and cause issues for that Bengals linebacking core. But I mean, we'll see what Brandon Staley really has going into this game. It's a pivotal one for their season. I mean, if they lose this, drop to 6-6, they're kind of big time on the outside looking in. So I mean, it's a crucial one for both in this game between the two second-year quarterbacks from last year's draft class. So let's keep it rolling. Other game we kind of went. There was some weird games. We thought about going Baltimore, Pittsburgh. I just realized like we've seen Baltimore, Pittsburgh a gazillion times. We kind of know and to what to expect from Baltimore and Pittsburgh. And then there was San Fran and Seattle. We decided against that. We're rolling with the arguably one of the hotter teams in football, though, the Washington football team, now sitting at 5-6, just behind the Minnesota Vikings for that last wild card spot, going on the road into Las Vegas to battle it out with Derek Carr and the Raiders. The Raiders, obviously, they impressed everybody last week, finding a way to go into Dallas on Thanksgiving and spoil Jerry Jones Thanksgiving. Honestly, appreciate that greatly. Yeah, that's real feel-good story. Deshaun Jackson tore them up, and it was good to see the Cowboys lose on Thanksgiving. And then on the other side, we have the Washington football team. They're rolling. Honestly, it's weird to say, but they've been playing better since Chase Young got hurt. I don't know. That's like so weird. Obviously, Chase Young's dynamic. You don't want to see him hurt, but they've kind of, I don't know if they've rallied around that, but they've just played better football. Antonio Gibson, they've been giving him the rock. Taylor Heineke plays with a little bit of swag. He's not the best quarterback on the field that we've ever seen, but he just has heart. It's kind of carried that team when you see they've kind of rallied around him as a quarterback. Looking at it, I mean, the Washington football team, one thing that does concern me, they're 0-4 against AFC teams this year. So, yeah, ugly. But then when you look at the other side of the team they're going against, the Raiders have allowed 30-plus points in 3 straight games. So their defense is trending upwards in Washington. And then when you look at the Raiders, they're going to allow points, right? So Taylor Heineke and Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, like they should be able to have a day. I don't think Darren Waller is going to be out there. He's still hurt with the knee injury. So that takes a weapon off the table for Derek Carr. And then I think also Deshaun Jackson was carted out of practice. I don't know if it was, I don't think it's anything major, but he did leave practice. I believe it was yesterday or today. So that could be another weapon off the table. Deshaun, obviously, I mean, he's older now, but he still stretches the field for a team that lost Henry Ruggs. So I mean, when you look at it, it's got to be heavy Josh Jacobs, or they just got to find, you got to find somebody else. Maybe it's Foster Moreau, or I don't know what else will be out there if Deshaun's not out there, and obviously Darren Waller's not going to be out there. What do you see when you look at this Washington kind of trending up, looking to sneak into the playoffs through the back door?
Yeah, this is going to be a really close one too. The spread is only 2.5. I went Raiders because they're at home, and to me, this is a game about who's going to score the most points. Obviously, right? But like what I'm saying is, I think it's an offensive game. Yeah, Washington's defense is trending up, and weirdly enough, they're playing better without Chase Young. They're just playing inspired football. They're doing well. And Washington's offense got Curtis Samuel and Logan Thomas back last week. That's a big deal. Logan Thomas had a big catch late in that game. That's a big body target for Heineke. So like Washington's trending in the right direction. I just prefer the Raiders offense. I understand the injuries. Deshaun Jackson carted off. No Darren Waller probably. You got Hunter Renfrow. He's going to get a ton of targets. Then you're relying on Josh Jacobs, Zay Jones. You're going to need some out of Foster Moreau, Brian Edwards, Kenyon Drake. It's just a bunch of guys, right? But they can get it done. There's enough there. He's had a good year offensively. He's thrown the ball well. They've scored good points, and I've been impressed with the Raiders so far. and I believe that they'll be able to keep it going. I think I had some. Can you hear me good? My microphone's all right.
Yeah, we're good. We heard it. It was super, super low, but I think we got the gist of things.
All right. Sorry about that, but he's got enough weapons offensively to get it done. And I don't have faith. I have more faith in Washington's defense only because of lately, but I don't have any faith in the Raiders defense. I think Washington's going to score. So to me, this is more about Derek Carr is going to be able to outscore. Derek Carr and his offense is going to be able to outscore Heineke and his offense, even though Heineke is going to have the better weapons on the field.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, 2.5 I went with. I just like the team that's playing better football and a team playing the team that kind of came off almost like a game that they wanted to lose on Thanksgiving. Granted, they did win it. They tried so hard to give it to the Cowboys. But yeah, I mean, as far as the defenses stack up, I mean, I like the Raiders pass rush, right? They can get out there. They're very good at getting after the quarterback. They lead the NFL in QB pressures this year. Obviously, Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue have been pretty solid coming off the end, but I just don't like the lack of, I don't know who's going to be out there for the Raiders, right? If there's no Deshaun Jackson, you're relying on Brian Edwards. Who else? Zay Jones, obviously Josh Jacobs. I mean, they can pound Josh Jacobs.
Renfro.
Oh yeah, Hunter Renfrow. Yeah, Mr. Reliable. So they do have Mr. Reliable out there. I mean, he can catch balls, but I don't know how much he's really stretching the field unless you're the Cowboys and let him run straight down the middle of the field on unevaded. I mean, he'll definitely get his catches. Like Renfro's carved out he runs solid routes, catches the ball, but I just don't know how much I don't even know how to word it. If they're going to be dynamic enough, that's what I'm looking for. I don't know if they're going to have the big playmaker, like you're relying on Zay Jones or somebody like that to really take the top off, or you're just going to play different than you've played all year and run the hell out of the football with Josh Jacobs, play ball control. So, I mean, I'm just going with the guys that are playing better football and they're playing inspired, better weapons out there. I like how Washington's trending, even though they're going on the road to Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's very reasonable to me. It's going to be close, and Washington is just healthier. And I can't stress enough the importance of Curtis Samuel and Logan Thomas coming back. I think that's going to be huge for him. And we already saw glimpses of it, even though they were in limited snaps on Monday night. So another week of practice, another week of conditioning, back into football shape. It's going to be a big deal for him.
Exactly. And that defense has dropped in the past 3 weeks down from 28 points per game allowed in weeks 1 through 8 down to only 18 points per game allowed. So their defense, and they've been off the field for 10 less minutes. So they're playing better defense. They're able to force stops and get off. But I mean, yeah, I expect a close one. We'll see how it goes. I would not be surprised if the Raiders defend home turf and kind of send Washington packing. But yeah, let's jump into the next one. We got Sunday Night Football. We got the ultimate game manager, one of my favorite game managers in the league right now, Teddy Two Gloves Bridgewater, leading the Denver Broncos, the 6-5 Denver Broncos, on the road, coming off a big home win against the Chargers. Into Arrowhead Stadium to face the Chiefs coming off a bye week. Obviously, we saw the Chiefs pick up a dominating W in Las Vegas. I was about to say Los Angeles, in Las Vegas. And then obviously they beat the Cowboys at home in their last game before the bye with a little bit of defense, not really the greatest offense, but the defense showed up, which kind of really bailed them out. Spreads at like 9.5. It opened at like 10.5. The Vegas had no faith in my man Teddy Two Gloves to roll into Denver. Patrick Mahomes is 7-0 against the Broncos. I mean, when you sit back and look at that, and Andy Reid and them guys, they're fully rested coming off a bye. Andy Reid's 19-3 coming off a bye. Everything just screams Chiefs get it back together. The Broncos do have a decent defense, so they could make it like a sloppy game, maybe force some turnovers out of Patrick Mahomes, play the game smart. But I just expect the Arrowhead crowd to be rocking. I expect it to be a similar atmosphere to that Cowboys game, big division game. The crowd's going to be into it. They're going to force a turnover out of Teddy at some point. And yeah, I expect the Chiefs to show up and really put it on them. I went Chiefs 9.5. I didn't really have any second thoughts. It just felt like one that's going to happen. Their defense, obviously, they're another defense. Through weeks 1 through 7, they're allowing 29 points a game. Weeks 8 to 11, they're down to 11.8 points per game. So moving Chris Jones, as I've mentioned for many weeks now, moving him back inside and acquiring Melvin Ingram to come off the edge, huge for that defense. And we've seen it over the past 4 games for the Chiefs. But how are you feeling going into this? It's a weird one to see a division game. This at least with two teams with a very similar record at this far of a spread, 9.5 feels kind of crazy considering Denver does have a respectable defense.
Yeah, that's what worries me about the game. Not that I believe Kansas City is going to win, but the points. It's a lot of points to cover. But I got to go with the Chiefs, right? For all the reasons you just listed. It's at home. Arrowhead's going to be rocking. Nationally televised game. It's really hard to bet against Andy Reid when he gets a full week of preparation. 19-3 off the bye, expect some dynamic offense. And like he's had a long time to look at this Broncos defense. If the Broncos are going to hang in there, it's all about the defense and the run game. Although running the ball in Kansas City all of a sudden got much harder the last month, so we'll see how that turns out. I'm very interested to see how Kansas City stops the run and their defense plays. I'm very interested in that because I assume that Mahomes is going to get it going no matter how good Denver's defense is. But Denver's defense is no slouch. Patrick Surtain, 2 interceptions last week. He's damn good, and they have a damn good defense. So they definitely have the ability to slow down Mahomes and get it done. I just after a bye week and the Chiefs are starting to roll and look good again, it's really hard for me to roll with Denver. And on top of that, their defenses look better. So in theory, they should be better against Denver's strength offensively running it. So it's really hard to go with Denver. But to me, it's all about the spread, right? Can they cover the spread? It's a lot of points. Can the defense slow down Mahomes and the boys long enough? I'm going to go with no, just because it's off a bye week. And I think Andy Reid's going to draw up some cool play that will be a touchdown, I bet, Sunday Night Football. So it's really hard to roll with Denver. They have good things going, but man, Kansas City off a bye week and they've been rolling and getting better. It's hard to pick against that.
Yeah, the spread was extremely tough, especially looking at Patrick Mahomes. Past 6 games has had a sub 90 passer rating, so he still hasn't been that great. And the Chiefs have scored fewer than 25 points in 5 straight home games, so we're trusting them to win by 10 points. Now that I sit back,
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, dude. And you know how Denver's going to play, right? They're going to play run heavy. They're going to play smart, which is it's honestly worked for them, right? Their defense has been good. Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater hasn't turned the ball over, but hey, shit happens. This is one where I was not willing to go out there for the Broncos. I think that I like where Kansas City's defense is trending. I'm going to trust that Patrick Mahomes doesn't do anything stupid. And yeah, I'm just trusting Andy Reid's track record coming off a bye, which has been pretty damn dominant in his career. The second highest win percentage among active head coaches coming off a bye with that 19-3 record. So, I mean, who knows, man? We'll see what happens. We'll see. They definitely have to force something out of Teddy Bridgewater because we know how the Broncos are going to play. If they're going to let him play ball control and just run the ball, it could cause issues. But I think Chris Jones inside should be able to stuff that a little bit. But it could get dicey. Now that I sit back and look at it, 9.5 kind of concerns me going into Sunday night.
And like you said, Teddy's the ultimate game manager, so it's hard to force him into bad decisions. He usually takes checkdowns.
Exactly. He's managing the game well. They run the ball. Their defense is good. And the Chiefs, although they're winning, they're not scoring as much as they usually did. They did have the one outlier game where they blew out or they scored plenty against the Raiders. But other than that, we really still haven't seen that offensive outbreak on a consistent basis. But hey, this is one where I was just not willing to, I just wasn't willing to go against the Chiefs coming off a bye, to be honest. I couldn't bring myself to taking the Broncos as ridiculous or as unjust as I felt the 9.5 was. I still found myself going back to the Chiefs. Keeping it moving. We got really, I'd say the game of the week on the schedule this week, to be honest, that everybody, if you're not looking forward to, if you're not huge on Denver and Kansas City, well, the Patriots and the Bills, 8-4 New England Patriots heading into Buffalo for the first time in the Mac Jones era, taking on the 7-4 Buffalo Bills. Heavyweight fight in the AFC East could arguably decide the AFC East when it comes down to it at the end of the season, depending on how the rest of the games play out. I mean, we got the Patriots playing some of their best football, obviously surging. I believe it's 6 straight W's for Mac Jones and Bill Belichick. They're really figuring it out on the defensive side, and Mac Jones is playing great on the offensive side. That he does everything that they ask him to do. They run the ball well. They're just a smart, sound football team at this point. And then on the other side of the ball, the Bills, we've seen them. I mean, they came back on Thanksgiving, got things together, really beat the shit out of the depleted Saints. Kind of still ugly. Josh Allen turning the ball over. Still, obviously, their run defense and the linebacking core that you continue to harp on each week is concerning. And I don't know. This was one where it had me flip flopping too, because a little bit of me said, yeah, go Bills. They'll be at home. I feel like these two teams will split. And everything kept leading me back to the Patriots. I just could not take the Patriots. I don't know. No Tre'Davious White, obviously he tore his ACL. on Thanksgiving. So, I mean, I like where the Patriots are trending, and I'm trusting Bill Belichick and arguably the smarter quarterback. Weird to say, but Mac Jones has proven over the past 6 games at least that he's the smarter quarterback up to this point. He's not turning the ball over. Josh Allen 3-3 in his last 6 with 8 interceptions, and then compared to Mac Jones, 2 interceptions in his last 6 games with a 6-0 record. So he's just playing smarter football, the hotter team. But this could really go either way, to be honest. That's all I got. What do you see going into Monday Night Football? Really, the biggest game on the slate this week.
Yeah, to me, the Bills have a really big challenge in front of them. Even though they're favorites and they're at home, their defense, like you already mentioned, are as hard on the linebacking core. They were beat up against Indianapolis. They ran all over them. They beat the shit out of the poor, hurt Saints. So it's like New England has that really good running game. They're going to, if they can give it to them, and then Mac Jones is going to make smart decisions in the air. New England, I think, is going to roll because I wouldn't say roll. That's a strong word, but they're gonna win because it's hard to trust Josh Allen offensively right now because it's all passing. Right, their offense is like 90% passing. They don't have a strong run game, and to me, like I've said it many times, Bill Belichick likes to take away the best weapon. That's Stephon Diggs. So to me, like how effective is Stephon Diggs going to be? If they slow down Stephon Diggs, I think the offense is going to struggle quite a bit. Yes, you have Dawson Knox, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, Gabriel Davis, but like, and they can come through. Those are good players, right? They've had big games, but it's much harder when Stephon Diggs isn't producing and you're just relying on Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley on those shorter routes. Cause like, it's going to be tough for Buffalo. Moving the ball. It's crazy to say, but I have more faith in New England's offense with Mac Jones right now than Josh Allen in that passing game. And part of it has to do with just Bill Belichick's defense, because I really think they're going to hone in on Stephon Diggs, and offensively, New England's going to do what they do. They'll be efficient enough to put up enough points. I think New England gets it done here on the road. I think it's going to be close. But I will say this, their division opponents, 2 very good teams. I still believe they'll split. That means I have both road teams winning their matchups, which is weird, but that's how it is for me right now. I have more faith in that Patriots offense than the Bills offense.
Yeah, and it has been a year where the road teams have been, it's not particular, but the road teams have been better than in years past. Road teams have been able to secure more W's. I did not know that this is the Bills have the #1 total defense. And then obviously the Patriots, they have the #1 scoring defense in the league. So as bad as the Bills defense or their troublesome defense has been, we've seen that obviously they're doing something well defensively to be the #1 total defense in the league. And the #1 total defense has won 11 of the 14 previous matchups. So that could bode well. I don't know, plus the home field. But yeah, as you basically covered every single point. I like where the Patriots are trending. They're really getting everything going. I expect Bill Belichick, Steve Belichick in that defense, take away Stephon Diggs and really force Josh Allen's hand, right? Force him into some bad throws. And he's shown that this year he's been making them bad throws. And defense has been feasting on it in a big division game. When you turn the rock over to a smart team like the Patriots, they will make you pay. So heavy Ramondre Stevenson, heavy Damian Harris, and then obviously get the play action going, get some Mac Jones going. I'm riding with the Patriots again. I came to that conclusion probably 10 minutes before we hit the record button, to be honest. But hey, we're stuck with it now, and honestly, I don't even feel bad. The Patriots are playing better football heading into this game, regardless of if they're on the road. Right, the Bills are really just getting the home team 3 points. That's pretty standard stuff. So.
And to the point about the Bills being the #1 defense, I probably would have rode with Buffalo in that #1 defense up until like 3 weeks ago, and they let Jonathan Taylor come in and just crush them on their own. That wasn't a close game. That was just a complete ass kicking. He had a phenomenal outing, Jonathan Taylor did. And it just, since then, I've lost a lot of confidence in this Bills linebacking core. They were beat up and hurt, but like I've lost a lot of confidence in their run defense and them in general, because they have an elite defense this year, obviously #1, right? But man, if they had a better performance against Jonathan Taylor, I would feel better. Like that really crushed my confidence in Buffalo's defense, which probably sways me to New England.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it comes down to, can Bill Belichick, who's going to turn the rock over? I mean, if the Bills can somehow force an uncharacteristic, it's crazy to say they got a rookie quarterback, but an uncharacteristic bad throw out of Mac Jones, it could sway the game easily. But I mean, that's what 3-point spreads are. It's going to be razor thin. I felt pretty confident rolling with the Patriots. And I mean, Jonathan Taylor 8 on them. So I don't think Bill Belichick will be worried one bit. Do expect like a close, low scoring game, though. I mean, I think it'll definitely live up to the battle that it's being billed as on Monday Night Football. Like, I expect it to be highly competitive all the way through. I don't expect like the Patriots to come out and just flood. And I definitely don't expect the Bills to just come out and flood. So we should have a good game on Monday night.
Well, I was told right before we started recording this podcast that I believe 82% of the public money is on New England, and we both picked New England, so it's probably going to be a Buffalo roll.
Exactly. Now it'll be like a Buffalo 4-point W. The shit's rigged anyway on the spreads, to be honest. Let's be real. I've seen it too many times now. But I mean, any other games that kind of catch your eye before we jump into the spreads? There's not really a whole lot on the slate, to be honest. Just looking at it all.
Yeah, I went with a lot of favorites this week. It just feels like a lot of lopsided matchups. The one that was weird to me was Seahawks Niners. I believe it was only 3.5. I don't know why the Niners are only 3.5 point favorites. Seahawks Niners, excuse me. I said Steelers. What have we seen from the Seahawks that they should even be like, it should be that low? I know it's in Seattle and they still have Russell Wilson, but come on now. They have looked so bad and the Niners are starting to get it together. That's my favorite pick of the week. Niners 3.5. It just feels way too low to me.
And now it's going to be like 27-3 Seahawks, like absolute domination. But yeah, I mean, you're pretty spot on. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's some fictional home field shit. Maybe Russell Wilson said he's going to target DK more than once in 3 quarters, and they'll get that whole show going. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, the slate's kind of weak outside of the games we really talked about. Like, it's not a great week. I'm not rolling with the Jags. I'm rolling with the shitty Rams. 12.5. Hopefully that disgrace of a team can get it together. You should be able to. Urban Meyer, that's like a bye week playing that team. And I went Steelers +4. I'll probably regret that very fast by the time Sunday Night Football is kicking off. Going on them, but I don't know. Division games, we know how those are like dog fights when those teams play, and they should be able to make it hopefully make it ugly.
I see that y'all both took Lions +7. I mean, the Lions play hard. It's not crazy, but
it's more of a screw Kirk Cousins vibe. Like, I'm not rocking with I'm not rocking with Kirk Cousins, and I don't want to sit like next week and be like, yeah, I needed Kirk Cousins to win a game by X amount of points, right? Like, nah. I don't know. Lions do play hard. Yeah, Jared Goff sucks, but who knows? I mean, we'll see. No DeAndre Swift. So I just think that they'll come out. I mean, although they're 0-10-1, they play harder than a 0-10-1 team, right? Like, they
100%.
Yeah, they play more dedicated than some teams that you see winning nowadays. But anything else on the spreads? Any other games you love before we get out of here?
I got one last one. Because y'all both picked it. Walk me through the Bears +7.5, because the Cardinals, much better roster. Kyler Murray's coming back. So what's the thought process there?
There is no thought process. That's what I'm thinking. Kyler Murray coming back. He's missed a month now. It's just maybe some, as they call it,
rust
in boxing, ring rust, or in the UFC, ring rust. So and this Soldier Field's notoriously, like, it's a weird place to play, right? The Bears are at home. They kind of look somewhat competent with Andy Dalton on offense. It's kind of weird how bad they look with Justin Fields, but then you toss Andy Dalton. I don't know. It's just kind of a ring rust thing. I do expect the Cardinals to win, but I don't know. That was my rationale behind it.
Not the craziest thing in the world. It's in Chicago. Their defense, not as good as it was the last couple of years, is still not bad. So yeah, crazier things have happened, but I don't know. Hard to pick against Kyler and the Cardinals this year.
Exactly. Yeah, they're good. They got this shit going. Obviously 9-2, sitting atop of the NFC. So we'll see what Kyler has for us on Sunday. But I mean, that's going to do it for today's show. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you have any suggestions. As we always read the comments. As always, the Spotify link will be in the description for audio only listeners. Go ahead and follow us over on there, as the episodes go live simultaneously on YouTube and Spotify at the same time. And as always, we're out of here. We'll see y'all next Tuesday to wrap up how bad we did on the week 13 picks and really deciphering these games as a whole.